morning, good morning, good morning. A pleasant morning to everyone listening to Island Tea. October 10th, 2023. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I want to say again, just have a beautiful day. The day has just started. It's 8:08, and I'm hoping, and today is worldly recognized as a particular day. But before I get into what today is, I just want to share with you, those persons who are listening, a poem. It's a poem. I'm here. Just want to share it with you before we get into today's program. And actually, we're going to have two guests. It's actually going to be, we're celebrating today, Jam. So do you know? I'm still looking for this poem. I thought I had it up. So I guess we could go straight
Today,
into.
I'm sure I know what it is, but
Mhm.
it's not. What is it? I give up.
You didn't even try Jam stuff.
October 10. Is it? No, I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm.
It is World Mental Health Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's celebrated today. And so at about 8:30, we're going to have via Zoom or telephone, whichever one works out better. We're going to have Dr. Halliday.
Oh, yeah, Sharon
Yes.
Halliday. Yeah.
And we're going to speak about mental health.
Uh-huh.
It's something that I think a lot of persons underestimate, in the sense that speaking about mental health has become somewhat of a taboo. People call you crazy, but it's a very important topic, and our minds govern our bodies. And if you don't have a healthy mind, you lack a healthy body. And so it is important for us to be also mentally healthy. And so before we go into the topics here for today, I want to share a poem. It's a poem by William Ernest Henley, and it's entitled Invictus. It says, "Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the belligerent of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my faith, I am the captain of my soul." And to repeat that poem again, it's by William Henley. It's entitled Invictus. And it says, "Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the belligerent of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears blooms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my faith, I am the captain of my soul." So that's a poem by William Henley, and it really speaks towards being the master of your own destiny, charting your own path, and it gives us, the confidence, or it gives us the reassurance that we are the author of our books. And so the chapters that we write, they're up to us. Of course, they may be influenced by, external affairs, but at the soul of it, we are the captains of our souls, we are the master of our fates, and we are to tailor that which we want. And so I just wanted to share that with persons this morning. The poem is entitled Invictus, and Invictus meaning unconquerable. And so as you go through today, regardless how you feel,
You ever saw the movie?
I heard about the movie, never saw it. Regardless
Okay.
how you, but there's a cologne by that name as well.
Yeah.
If regardless how you feel, I want to say to you, do not be conquered by your circumstance. Tread on and persevere. So there's so many.
What did you say?
Tread on, persevere.
Say that first word again. The first word. You said 4 words. Say the first word again. With a T.
Tread.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, you didn't do the thing everybody does wrong.
what's that?
People use trod as present tense.
Oh.
I was making sure you didn't say trod on.
Oh no, I said tread. I was wondering what. I was like, is Jamster going to embarrass
No,
me?
no, 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 no,
On
no, no,
radio.
no, 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 no.
But I'm
no,
glad,
no.
I'm
Never
glad.
That, never that.
I'm
never
glad
that.
I conquered that task. The the Invictus before me. But there are so many topics.
The Rastas do it all the time. They'll probably string me up, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's tread, guys, not
Mhm.
trod.
Yes.
Tread, present tense.
Mhm.
Don't want to be an English teacher and all that, but
Mhm.
tread, past tense, trod, past tense.
Mhm. So let me say, there are so many things that are in the news right now,
You know, Eli is gonna call me and
Uh-huh.
and tease me about that probably.
as he should. So, there's so many things in the news. I saw that there's something circulating indicating that there has been some increased cases.
Dengue, you mean?
Yeah, the dengue. Let me go into that because, it was something we discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like when I was listening to it this morning, I was
Mhm.
thinking, boy, we can't win. It's like we're begging for rain, and then now we have rain. The mosquitoes are going crazy. you know?
Yeah. It's so
And another
something.
thing, it would be nice if a doctor could call us and tell us. I was wondering this morning, is it possible?
Mhm.
Because the news story also mentioned that the same mosquito can give you chikungunya. And what's the other one? Zika.
Mhm.
So I wonder, is it possible someone can contract more than one or more at the same time? I
Mhm.
wondered about that.
But I guess it was in the news because I'm getting this from WINNFM. It says that 3
Yeah, it was on the news
laboratory
this
cases of dengue fever were recorded in St. Kitts and Nevis during the past week. Wow, 3 cases.
Yeah.
And there have been, I strangely enough, when I was driving just the other day, I was feeling something biting me. I was like, what are these mosquitoes? And for some time I have not been bitten by a mosquito. And I was like, oh, I just hope it's nothing serious, now that I seen
Yeah.
all of these
I remember the
things.
last time I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it when I went jogging.
Mm-hmm.
And it was raining a lot the same week.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
And they're crediting the increase in these mosquitoes due to the natural tropical storm, Felipe.
Oh,
You're saying with
probably.
the increase in rain and everything. I saw an article that
Yeah.
really,
yeah.
credited the number of mosquitoes now as a result of that. And it
Yeah.
says these are some precautionary measures. I mean, 10 actions that you should do to try to, at least minimize the occurrence. And it says, 1, protect yourself by using personal repellents on skin and clothes. It says, use bed nets if adult mosquitoes are prevalent. It says, wear protective clothing like long pants and long sleeve tops. It says, protect your homes by using screens for doors and windows. You want to say something?
No, I was going to say, I went up to Harper's for some back to school shopping just before school opened.
Yes.
And they had some armbands. One of those kind of spring looking things
Mhm.
that it said that they were mosquito repellent. So I asked the cashier, do those work? She said she didn't know, but I was kind of intrigued. So
Mhm.
I'm going to have to research that to see how that works.
Mhm.
Because you basically just put it on your armband and supposedly
Should be neat.
repels mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know how that works
Yeah.
before I buy one.
And the repellent sprays often come with a scent. So
They usually smell nice. There's a British one,
Uh-huh.
Autan. There's one called Altan, I think, which smells really nice. A British product. I
Got to check
remember.
it out then.
I think Oldie Brisbane or Frank B. Armstrong used to bring
Yeah,
it
have
in.
it.
Yeah, it smells better than the off. The off smells kind of chemical.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
guess it's to get stuff off.
True, but it smells off.
Yes. Number 5, it says protect your homes, schools, and offices by disposing of all bottles, cans, and water holding containers in an approved, refused bin with appropriate covers. Keep lawns, grass, and vegetation trimmed. It says number 6, change and replenish water in vase daily. Number 7, change and replenish pet and animal drinking those containers
bowls and
daily.
stuff,
It also says number 8, store all used and new tires in a dry place. And 9, report any body of stagnant water to the local environmental health department. And number 10, if you're experiencing fever, joint pains, pains behind your eyes, and a rash, you should seek medical care at the nearest health facility.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a rainy season now, and that's something you definitely have to look out for. I had a. Have you ever had a one of those health agents coming by to make sure you don't have any containers holding stagnant water in your premises? That ever happened? It happened to us a few months ago.
I can't recall. Okay.
Yeah, so she took a little. She did a circuit around the yard and to make sure we didn't have any. So yeah, it's important that people, if you have things that can pool water, whether inadvertently or deliberately, you should either cover it, or if you don't intend something to be a catchment for water, you just turn it over and make sure it doesn't catch water, and give the mosquitoes a chance to have a party.
Yeah, you don't want to play with these mosquitoes, especially around this time, or any time whatsoever.
And I've been listening to these the youth parliament stuff and so on.
Yes.
And I must say, there's something that Ira McMahon said on Friday. I think it was Friday. Which I tend to agree with. I find that because of our British colonialist, you could say upbringing, we put a lot of emphasis in verbosity and eloquence and wielding English like a well sharpened sword type thing, and we love to hear ourselves speak and sound eloquent and so on. And what I was thinking, as far as the youth parliament, I was thinking, listening to some of the kids, and I don't want to disparage the kids, but honestly, I just feel it's like just another exercise in people liking to hear. I'm sorry, I don't care. People are gonna be mad at me. I feel like it's just another exercise in people loving to hear themselves sound eloquent and using big words that they don't normally get to use every day and grandstanding. I'm sorry. I think what would be more helpful, if this youth parliament thing is supposed to be about, let's say, grooming the younger ones about the way government works and so on. How about you actually have these people doing internships in government ministries rather than bloviating in a fake parliament? I think that would be more helpful, because all we're doing is, okay, on one level, all we're doing is probably honing the skills of some pretty good debaters. They might have some debates in high school, maybe sixth form, and they might get pretty good at debates because of these bloviation sessions. Because that's all there. I'm sorry, kids. I really don't care too much about all the the slinging of words and stuff really means nothing. But I'm not putting the blame on you. I think the culture needs to change. The youth parliamentarians should be given actual internships in government ministries, government agencies. How about we do that? Then maybe I could excuse the bloviation. You know?
I hear what
I don't
you're
know what the
saying.
listeners think.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying in relation to that jump stuff. I think that there is merit in honing your skills when it comes to public speaking, but in the same light, I do get that there should be, in addition to the words, some action. So if you're going to speak on various topics, then you should
know what you're talking about.
and not only that, you should more like
Don't tell me
practice-
you're a shadow youth minister, but you never even been in the whatever ministry you're supposed to be shadowing's office.
You should at
You know?
least try to carry out some work in what you're advocating.
Yeah.
Whatever you're advocating for, or but the difficulty or the thing about your parliament, because I've served as the president of your parliament here in St. Kitts, it's supposed to be non-partisan, non-governmental, supposed to operate.
But the government,
external
but the government
to
persists.
government.
The government persists, though, doesn't it? It shouldn't matter who. It shouldn't matter who's in power.
Yeah, but the let me say it should be non-partisan.
Yeah.
So it's a non-partisan.
So if you have an
operation.
internship in a government office,
No, I'm
that's
not
partisan.
saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying. I'm not hitting your point. I'm just
No, no,
saying
no.
the way in which it's structured now. So you could
Stop
have a.
seeing things as someone attacking someone. No, we're just
No,
talking.
I
Is
have-
all you said. I'm attacking. I never thought that you were attacking my point. We're having a conversation.
Oh, no.
We're having a convo. Come on.
Where, I am extremely calm. I am extremely calm. So what I'm saying is that I'm not going against the point that you're making as to put in the work, because I think work is also needed and necessary. But I think also one's ability to hone their public speaking skills is equally important.
Yeah.
Because
But all
one
I'm
must
saying-
be able to convey
Yeah.
effectively what they are saying, and I think
And what they're doing
there
when
is
if
power
they-
in
if they-
words.
Yeah. And what they're doing if they actually become ministers and. But all I'm saying, there should be some balance.
Yeah, with
I-
words there
yeah.
should also be action. So you're saying that you're not seeing the action part of it. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I'm saying if you're gonna be honing, I mean, I don't really care too much for the honing of basically BS skills. That's all it is. Because I mean, the premier, his name is Mark Anthony Brantley, man. I mean, talk about literal. I mean, if you know Shakespeare, you know who Mark Anthony is, right? And he's a great speaker. And he runs the risk of sounding like a BS artist sometimes. And that applies to everyone else as well, who might not even be as polished as he is on the speaking stage, so to speak. So I'm just saying there should be more balance. I think there's too much emphasis on elocution, let's say, and maybe polishing an argument to such a bright shine that even if it's BS, you think it's like the most brilliant thing. But
in the same
you know?
in the same light, one should be able to express themselves, express an
absolutely.
opinion without having to be disrespectful, without having to come across as if you are not. That you're not. It's a debate of ideas, not persons. So when I see debates, let's debate the idea. So one should be able to effectively convey what they want to say in such a way that it persuades the listener to buy into what you're saying.
For real.
And
yeah.
that is because when you look at politics too, and you look at the debates, it's debates on policies, debates on what you think should be the direction that we should take as a people, and the whole voting for your representative is all on persuasion, who you believe is best suited. At least that should be, I think, maybe that's my opinion, who's best suited to do, to lead the country and to lead in the various areas that we expect them to. And so I don't bash persons being able to express themselves effectively.
No. I'm not bashing. I was just saying I would like to see
But
some more balance.
I see what you
yeah.
say with the action.
I
But
started talking about it. I started thinking about it when I was hearing
there
them.
have been community activities for the youth parliament as well. Maybe they're not as well publicized then, maybe. And maybe what it could happen is perhaps publicizing more the activities that they do on the ground.
And I thought it was interesting that Ira was thinking the same thing I've always thought, that the British culture is all about, all about this almost pompous a lot of the times it's pompous grandstanding and hearing yourself speak.
But maybe it is your experience or your perception of politicians. Maybe if you were to experience a politician who is great on the words but also great in the action, your perception might be different.
There are only two competences I see politicians, and I'm talking about the whole Caribbean, that are good at: get in the bag, one, and two, spewing BS when they speak. Those are the only two competences.
But if there's a politician if there's a politician who speaks well but also puts the action behind their words, would you respect that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But they're few and far between.
Okay. And I think your perception of them might change if there were more you feel who could also speak well and do what they say they're going to do.
And I also would like to see I remember me and a friend were talking about that, and I remember telling you, I would like to see under promising and over
accomplishing
and over, yeah.
Okay.
Say less
and do more.
Say less, do more, and whatever you say, please be realistic. Don't just spew BS because you wanna get our vote.
There is where I would agree with you on not just saying what you persons think, want to hear.
Yes, exactly.
Without any real plan to actually accomplish it.
Exactly.
So time passes.
And I always give Lindsay props for that time when
the sugarcane, the sugar factory.
And when Douglas was out of pocket with the things he said in Old Road and so, and Lindsay said, the truth is we have to close the sugar industry. I always give him props to that. For all his other faults, I always give him props to that. At least he was truthful.
And I think people
and then Douglas went out of pocket again, and then
I think people appreciate the truth, even if it's a harsh truth, rather than a sweet lie, because your expectation go up and then nothing.
Yeah.
We have a caller.
Hey, caller. Hello, caller. Hey, what's up?
Azard.
Yes.
I wanna change the topic for a moment. Azard.
Yes.
Is the government information tell us anything about the ambassador up in your United Nations?
That is something that I thought about as well for this morning.
Because it's a very, very serious thing,
I listened to it
and to see that the leader of government had a roundtable talk, and no journal. What's wrong with these journalists? When they think it's people, Mama?
Jam down. Jam down. Jam down.
20 years.
I thought the same thing. So perhaps we're on the same mind path.
When you talk, people telling you talk politics.
Yeah.
But look, this backward set of slaves come to this country. Oh my God, Father, help us.
I thought
when you try to talk about the colonialists, we've been blinding us for years. Some people in society vex. But my brother don't stop, because we got to educate the young generation coming through.
2 words, jam down. 2 words, colonize minds.
Help us.
Colonize minds.
So jam down on your point that you're making. I do express the same sentiments in the sense that we have a situation where it is that an ambassador, a representative, a person from St. Kitts and Nevis who represents us at the United Nations, there was an incident. Based on that incident, that individual was recalled, and based on communication brought back to St. Kitts and Nevis. And now there are rumors because nothing official has been stated, at least as far as I know, that the same individual has returned. And if that is so, we never got an explanation as to why the individual came in the first place. And if that individual has left, we are still without any explanation.
Azard, this is a big talk and registration just over Nevis. Big talk. People start to want to know if the Prime Minister don't understand his role as the leader of the country. Me glad I shook it at Momo, yeah? But they don't fool me. Have a good day, my brothers.
And thank you for your contribution. And it really brings to my mind transparency, accountability. These are words that we like to toss up and play with when it suits us. But when one is to be transparent and accountable, and we expect our government to be transparent and accountable, we see oftentimes that that is not the case. Carla, you're live on Island T.
Eternal greetings and morning rise in the love of the Almighty Creator,
Hi,
the
good morning.
ancestors with the guidance of all Black African redemption. I would like to say first and foremost, morning to your all program, Island T, Brother Azard and Brother Jamster, in the love of our ancestors and the Almighty strength. Now, good morning to your listeners for radio and England. I just like to look at something that we really got to consider of how Sinkers and Nevis is moving forward, further to the life of destiny. Now, you all just raised something from a caller there. And when you look at the aspect of this discussion going forward, you play to see that our constitution is still the metals of destructive to our way of how we're going forward as a nation. And whether we don't want to adjust it or not is a true fact. Now, if you're going to tell me that this incident occurred, and this is the way going forward that the person can return back to where they are, I mean, they don't set the boundaries. So if I'm talking wrong, tell me wrong, you who is a lawyer there on the program there, Azard. Because you know, I tell you this year, and I'm going to say it again, our constitution needs to revamp and change effectively, because until we change that, them leaders who we have in our political spectrum won't be doing what they're doing. They be getting jail.
But we are the ones,
we want to be friendly.
The electorate,
political sphere.
And in fairness,
we want to be friendly and political speared.
In fairness,
we try to do favoritism with these people.
In fairness, in fairness, these persons were elected by the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. You understand? And so the people of St. Kitts and Nevis would have seen what they had to offer. Well, they would have shown the St. Kitts and Nevis through their manifestos and their words, and we now see what they have to offer. So the decision would rest with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis again.
No, that's why I got this thing in a concept wrong. The society is not favored by that. You know that too. That's why I not trust English language, because I cannot lead our people wisely. So if the society is way off, as you want to tell me, onto this concept, only the electorate is the concept of what we're going to this decision making.
So let me ask you something before you go on. Okay, hold on. Before you go on, you are saying that we should abolish the Constitution, right?
No, don't tell me that. No, I'm saying I just said we need to revamp it.
Revamp it.
Please
okay.
Don't say what I'm not
saying.
I tell you, I use a word that I said the English phrase around here could rely and make our people make proper tailing, speaking. But not more me, because English is the worst language in the world to my extent.
Okay.
I mean, I feel to say so.
Okay. My apologies before you. My apologies. So you said to revamp it.
Man.
No, before you go. Because you made some statements, and I just want you to clarify. In what ways are you saying it should be revamped?
Okay, if you're telling me that we have a status that the Governor General is the highest state in our land, working on this concept of the crown, but the crown is not confined for the people. And you're still telling me that we are going to elect people like that in that concept to give a fair power to that.
So what do you suggest? So what do you suggest then?
Change that.
So what do you suggest?
Change that effectively without any fear or favor.
Okay,
we are not warmongers on here. We are human beings. So we have educational people who can change it too.
So Carla, You have made a suggestion. No, sorry. You have pointed out something. What is your recommendation?
A consultation, we all had done it already under the same Mama Henry the top, but we're both of Philip was a former governor. So you want to tell me we can go and weed in that there and see what we could go forward with our people? Of course, that we can do. So we ain't got a good mindset around here no more.
Okay, sorry.
Only for the slave master them.
Sorry.
But we can't do it for your own self.
Okay, hold on. I just want to make sure that I have everything in perspective. You're suggesting reform and you're suggesting the removal of the Governor General and also an executive body of government?
That is not the executive body. That is the executive body for who the people are for their own personal concept. Who guiding? Because on the context of it, it's not guiding us in that. It's confusing us. Look at the recent spoil between Governor General and the Simon, and the Denzel, and the Timothy, and look at this one here coming here as our brother saying he's our fourth prime minister. Come on, and that'll be real.
And so they're making.
I'm not fair to consider this here.
Okay.
The constitution needs to change effectively. This is how you're saying that.
Let me ask you. So you're saying there should be removal of the executive branch of government?
Because we can have different ways of our legislative body too. Don't you think that can be changed?
So, but if you're suggesting the removal of the executive, what do you therefore recommend be put in place?
Put elder councils there, Virgin. That's the best way to guide our people.
And who?
Because them will be able to have goodness from the young youths them to entail to them people who we call as legislative body makers.
And how would these? Okay. Let me ask you. You're going on a lot. So how would these persons be? How would these persons be chosen? The elders.
But if you know, white homely, we don't want no partisanship in here. So everybody have to be respected by the way of his or her work. Come in to cheat the thing in a proper way to guide our people, so we don't have no kind of confusion in not 20 years or 30 years down the road.
So you're saying
we can able to stable the mantle.
So who would fit the criteria of elder?
I wouldn't call no name here right now because we got a lot of good elders who is willing to keep the compromise of that dialogue. But if we come to not seeing these things going to pass, well, we are going forward here.
I am not.
Where are we going forward?
I am not saying that there is a perfect system, but we at the end of the day, we have an executive, we have a constitutional body, and we have an executive, we have the legislature, and we have the judiciary. If it is that we are unsatisfied by the executive, the performance of the executive, then we have elections. We have the people of St. Kitts and Nevis who can, choose which executive they want to support or who make up the executive at the end of the day.
But the final analysis, Azard, we say, it don't control, but the people still after. So you know that too. So it changed a lot of ways. Come on, man. Let me consider this for the younger generation now. The youth them need a better future than what we're seeing.
But also easy.
He talk about the yes, give thanks. Okay, I'll leave,
Okay. But
because it's a good program you're having. All I'm just saying, this time we have this discussion. Okay. So these kind of crap that you reading out won't be on the face of our
public. But Carla, before you go, your suggestion of removing the executive as it is now and putting in elders is again putting in an executive without any proper means of determining who will fit in this executive.
And also, I consider this. Are you saying that this what the governmental system is proposing is like a traditional African government system? Are you saying that these elders would be above the normal BS we see from the garden variety politicians we have around here?
That's what we have said all,
would it be any different?
No party politician, no party politician, because we ain't coming here to look at whether you're a labor or you're a family, come here to look at your development to your country.
Yeah, but you didn't answer the question.
About development.
You answered the question.
Then to me, before you go, Jamsa, to me, the issue that you have is having persons run via political parties. So you're saying your concept is to ban away with political parties and vote on individuals. Is that what you're saying?
Basically ban away because you're going to have a child of this year in this moment. But all I'm saying, my brother, and to the nation and the world, I may have said this without any fear of favor. Or people are being misled by this evil concept that we call English constitution, that England itself don't have none for their own governance that they have up there in that parliament system. But we have been given this year to tripod ourselves within ego.
Okay, we'll have to
instead of
continue this
concentration.
discussion. I
But
want to
anyway,
say
love
thank you for your
and
call.
care, because our people have to rise up and not fall no more.
Okay, I want to say thank you for your call and your contribution.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and come
Yes.
back. It's 8:43.
Yeah.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Studied hard at school, didn't wanna be a fool, but you're still not in the game. Girlfriend living large, big house and car, that's because she's in the game. Life seems real tough, bills keep going up, and you're still not in the game. It's not that hard for all that to change, it's time to get in the game. You have to be in it to win it. Super Lotto, in it to win it. Super Lotto, in it to win it. Super Lotto, you have to be in the game. Only $6 to play, so play today. Only $6 to play, so play today. Only $6 to play, so play today. You have to be in the game.
Get your tickets from Caribbean Lottery retailers island-wide.
If you need protection, you'll need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you'll need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
And we are back.
We are back, and we're supposed to have with us the team for Dr. Halliday. She's in the waiting room, so hopefully
She is?
Yeah, she is.
You told me that, and I actually went and I didn't see her because I've had it open for a while.
No problem.
Yeah, but okay, at least we have time, so I'm gonna sort it out now. Sort it out. So
Okay. So the caller last spoke about making some changes to our constitution. At the end of the day, some of us may not agree. We have a caller.
Oh yeah, we had a caller, but they don't seem to have a lot of patience. Like,
They think
okay, here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
you gotta be so quick. Hey, caller, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning.
I could have guessed it was.
Yes.
Mr.
Eventually,
yeah. I was going to say, I bet you that's Mr. Mahan.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Because what seems to be happening is that you're discussing stuff which near and dear to my heart.
Yes, I know.
We seem to be, we seem to be still struggling with our governance and accountability system, right? And that's really unfortunate because we have lots of systems that are supposed to assist in that regard. We have lots of systems which, make sure there are checks and balances, and you don't have abuse of power, or leaders don't make rash decisions. But somehow they're not working. And so I think the focus should be on how to make them work, right? This elder theory, that's one school of thought. The only thing is that it is not really democratic. Because if you believe that people should be able to choose, the populace should be able to choose whoever they wish to govern them. Then whether they're old or young, that is who they want to govern them.
Yeah, and also, Mr. McMahon, what the criticism or a shortcoming of that is that elders are people too. They are going to be elders of Not because you're older doesn't mean that you escape some of the vices that we are speaking about. And
Right.
so they are persons as well. They're not inflammable. They're not without, so it goes down to character and individuals regardless.
Well, no. I wouldn't say it goes down to character and individuals. We don't want it to go down to characters and
No,
individuals.
when I say
because
character,
that is what.
when I say character, because I feel like you're misinterpreting me. We hope that the person, well, at least I hope, let me talk for me then. At least I hope when I vote, voting for someone of, no one is perfect, but at least of a good enough character to serve.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yes, there has to be standards,
Mm-hmm.
and not only that, you know that people can switch on a dime. They may say one thing one time, and depending on the situation or whether it's convenient, they'll just do an about face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not so much about the character and personalities. It should be about the system, because people get fooled all the time.
Mm-hmm.
you know that,
Yeah.
right? And as you said before, you're good. You have the gift of the gab. You're good with words. You can motivate. You can inspire. You can encourage and all of that, persuade. But you can do all of that really well and be doing it for the wrong reasons or leading people down the wrong way. They follow you because they like you or whatever, but it could be the wrong way too. And that is why safeguards have to be built in, right? And I maintain that we do have some of those safeguards, but they're not working.
Mm-hmm.
Whether because of the people who are appointed to be the watchdogs or whatever, whether it's because the systems are not strong enough and there are loopholes, but they're just not working. Okay, and there has to be some way whereby we can get them to work. Off the bat, I can think of some ways, but the problem, I think, is that when you're in a position of power, one, it's very difficult to relinquish that power. And secondly, you don't want to give other people rope to hang yourself with. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no impetus, no real reason why, no encouragement for people who can change the system to change it. They prefer to just add a little piece and delay and do all kinds of tactics to prevent the kinds of accountability that we need to show itself.
But look
show
at it.
itself,
Look
right?
at it in this perspective, Mr. McMahon. This administration campaigned on transparency, accountability, and the situation with the ambassador was a perfect opportunity for them to lead the way in terms of accountability and transparency.
Yes, and there have been other opportunities
Yes,
as well.
they
yeah.
have been as well. And so it makes a point that you often make. You have these laws put in place, but if the persons laws aren't going to capture everything. It's not going to spell out how everything is supposed to be done, And something like this, there's no rule as to how it's supposed to be done because there's nothing in place really. But there is an expectation that something like this happens, that, the government would at least give an explanation as to what has transpired, especially as it relates to such a high-ranking public official.
Right.
And
right.
that goes to the core of transparency and accountability and also responsibility.
I agree. I totally agree. But what I'm saying is, because, why do you think they have not come forward with the explanation or some statement, detailed statement on what transpired and what is going to be done about it? Why do you think that hasn't happened?
I really don't know, to be honest.
Oh well, I think I know.
I really don't know.
I think it's because it doesn't suit whatever narrative is being put out there, right?
Well,
Nobody, there's no government.
Mm-hmm.
No government wants egg on its face.
That
right?
is
The
true.
problem with this one, the problem with this, though, is that it's not just the government egg on the government face, but the country's face.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why it should have been dealt with. Okay, and so there's always these kind of bringing all these nuances and roundabout ways of doing things.
Let me say this. Let me say this then, because when you asked that question, I thought that could have been that's the reason. But in asking the question, I was thinking, is there a plausible reason as to why they have refrained from doing this? And even though it paints them in a negative light, I don't think that is enough for them not to give us an explanation.
Right. I mean, after all, there's no perfect government. You will make mistakes. People will mess up sometimes. But and I think we spoke about this already in Jamster. It's not the crime; it's the cover-up. It's how you deal with these mistakes, whether you learn from them, whether you handle them appropriately to make sure that there's no repetition and those sorts of things.
And
whether
again,
out.
Well, usually for me, it's like it's always a compound crime because, as far as I'm concerned, the cover-up is. I mean, if you're awarding scores, the crime is maybe 55 and the cover-up is 45. So it's like a compound crime every time. I mean, it's like you're adding insult to injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. Right. That's exactly right. And you contrast that, like I said, for instance, with the NATO incident, where he owned up to it. Okay.
Which I thought was great.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he should be.
And that is probably forgotten and well, not necessarily forgotten, but at least it's been the consternation surrounding it has subsided, and everybody understands his position. He made a rash, an emotional decision initially, thought about it after, was contrite, and came out with essentially an apology, which is good. That is how you deal with it. You don't try to hide and beat around the bush when it was clear that something untoward happened. That just makes for more speculation and prolongs the whole incident. I don't know. I just don't think that was.
Yeah, and if you don't give an explanation, persons are going to assume many things. If you leave things open for assumption, people are going to assume all sorts of things.
Yeah, but we definitely have to have, like I said, it isn't that we don't have systems to deal with these things. It's just that we have to make sure that they work. They can work. Okay, and right now, I'm not convinced that they are working.
Mm-hmm.
They're not working. And the critical thing,
mm-hmm.
You realize how much, even before things like integrity in public life, what should have been brought forward first, what should have been prioritized, was freedom of information. Because when you have that underpins practically everything else. A lot of the integrity questions, a lot of the corruption and the nepotism and the cronyism and those kinds of things would not have happened if we had a good freedom of information system in place, right? Because people would get caught even before.
Okay.
Well, for one thing, it would be a good deterrent.
Okay, Mr. McMahon, we have another caller.
Yeah, so I want to squeeze you.
All right,
you can always call.
Thank you so much.
Caller, go right ahead.
Hey, morning, guys.
Hi.
Hey, morning.
And morning to the listeners home on the board. Carl Brown here.
Good morning,
guys. One of the things, we just celebrate 40 years of independence. And we are claiming all the time we want to come from under the king. Well, actually the monarchy. Now, since we celebrate 40 years of independence, and we have heard our Prime Minister said, openly in the campaign, and since he become Prime Minister, that he's going to be pushing for a republic. Well, it is time now. We know they are going into the budget session now, but some groups and organizations and agencies, and including we the callers who are pushing, especially me, for all the years, that has been one of my babies, that we move to a republic. And it is time now we start having the discussions and making the plans and the way forward, start having discussion, what it's going to cost us, how we are going to go about it, looking at other models and all kind of thing to move to a republic. We are not going to be settling under this king to go another 90-something years like his mother. Right? It is time we move forward to a republic. And then the other thing is, going into a republic, please, we are not going into a republic with this constitution that we have, because that republic will not work. So we also have to start the discussions on the way forward to changing this constitution to move to a republic where the constitution would have that the politicians, when they're wrong and they messed up, they go jail, just like me, you, and Jamster guys, and anybody else. Not that they just come and say, oh, 20 million and 40 million and materials missing here and this can't be found, and that's it. It happened under your ministry. We investigate you. We get a committee, some organization to investigate you. We get the investigation and we take you to jail, to the court. And if you're found guilty, you go to jail just like me and any common person on the street. We cannot go into a republic where the politician going to run and slide free. And anybody else under the politician, and even laws for those in the private sector too who commit corruption, stealing, and all kind of things, we set up laws that they go to jail too. So we have to start the discussions on making the way forward to changing the constitution and going into a republic.
But Carl, in all honesty, there is a rule of thumb. The rule of law says that no man is above the law, and so whether you serve...
Oh, not in the Caribbean. Well, in Trinidad, we see Panda went jail.
Yes.
Who else has gone jail since then?
It would be the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to advocate for those, to ensure that those things, when persons are, that we have to advocate.
We have attorney general after attorney general. We have prosecutor after prosecutor. And they have not taken no politician before the court and sent them to jail.
Well, okay, Cal, that's it.
The Attorney General spoke about a special prosecutor, so let's see how things would go.
Yes. Okay, so we have a weekly dose coming up next.
Yeah, we have a weekly dose.
Yeah, the doctor is
yes,
let's take a quick break.
Let's take a break.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Are you ready to transform your bedroom into a haven of dreamy comfort and affordable luxury? Well, get ready, because Horswood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store Bedroom Set Sales Event is here. We believe that your bedroom should be your sanctuary, and we're making it easier than ever to make that dream a reality. During the entire month of October only, get 20% off all cash purchases on a wide range of exquisite bedroom sets. Hurry in today to Horswood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store and let us help you create the bedroom of your dream. Don't miss out on this incredible dreamy comfort affordable luxury bedroom set sales event and get 20% off all cash purchases, putting comfort and luxury within your reach. Remember, at Horsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store, we make dreams a reality. Don't wait. This event won't last forever. Visit us now. Terms and conditions apply.
And it's time for our weekly dose. It's 2 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we have the good doctor joining us. Good morning.
We have the
And our
doctors.
guest.
Yes, both of them are doctors. Yes.
Yes,
Hi,
the
good
two
morning,
doctors.
morning.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. So we have Dr. Osborne and Dr. Leon. Yes, it's so good to have you guys here. And I see you guys are here beautifully adorned in your pink. I'm wearing green, you know why? Because today is Mental Health Day and the color for that is green. So I apologize. Last week
That's
I
so
was
true.
wearing my pink.
Really?
So-
It's green? Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know
it's
that.
green. So today we have the part 2 of breast
Yes.
cancer awareness. And so we are going straight into it. And so
Good morning to everyone. So last week we started our series of breast cancer awareness because we do know that this is breast cancer awareness month and also, but today is mental health month, but we're not mental health care specialists, okay?
yeah, we're hoping to have them at the 9:30 hour
Okay,
now.
excellent.
Yes.
So they'll come after. That would
Yes.
be beautiful. So we last week, just to summarize, we spoke about what breast cancer is. We spoke about some of the risks associated with breast cancer. We also spoke about the data, international and local, giving a lot of data that's what was going on here in the Federation in terms of the number of cases and the deaths we've had surrounding the breast cancer in the last 5 years. So our conversation continues.
It does. And so let me ask you the question. What are breast cancer symptoms?
So breast cancer symptoms. Most persons know we spoke about the risk factors associated with breast cancer. What are the symptoms? Most of the time, a female with breast cancer can have a combination of symptoms. Depends on the stage or how advanced the case is. Most people would present with a lump. I've had many patients who presented saying that they found a lump in their breast and they got concerned about it, or they were with their partner. Incidentally, lots of females, they're with their intimate partner and the partner feels the lump, and that prompts them to go and get it evaluated. So there may be a breast lump, a thickening of the breast. You may see changes in the skin of your breast. It may be red. You may find dimpling. One breast may seem bigger than one. The shape of the breast might be distorted as well too. And you may feel that you may see your nipple, it is normally outward. If your nipple was always outward and then it starts sinking in or going like into a crater, that is also very concerning because as the cancer goes, it pulls the muscles and pulls the ligament and it causes that dimpling. You may also have things like a bloody discharge. A bloody discharge from the nipple is often concerning. So anytime you have any of these symptoms or signs or you feel a lump under your arm, it is concerning and you need to see your physician to get it checked. So most importantly, you feel a lump in your breast, you feel that the shape of your breast has changed, you see that there are changes in your nipples or changes in the skin of your breast, it is important that you follow up with your physician.
I know last week, Dr. Osborne, you spoke about the main types of breast cancer. You said that cancer begins in ducts and tubes, cancer that begins in the lobules, cancer that looks like an abscess, and one that looks like a nipple rash also. You spoke about all of those and how they look. My question to you this morning, are there other types or subtypes of breast cancer?
So we have different subtypes, and most of the time we need to, the patients have to know that the breast cancer is due to an imbalance in hormones in body. So most of the time when the patient have the biopsy done, we do a test when we classify the patient accordingly. If the patient have the estrogen overexpressed, if the patient have the progesterone receptor positive, or if the patient have one gene that is the HER2 overexpressed. When we testing all these things, we can classify the patient in 3 main subtypes. We classify the patient in luminal A, luminal B, and we also have the triple negative, that is one of the most aggressive subtype of the cancer. And also we have one more subtype, that is the one that is when the HER2 is positive. So that is really important in order to choose what will be the treatment that we're gonna do for the patient in the future.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, how is breast cancer diagnosed?
So breast cancer is diagnosed. You're always going to need a series of studies, some of them radiologic, and some can be surgical or intervention studies. We usually have our women, and we encourage our women to have their annual or every 2 years have their screening and mammography that can make early detection of breast cancer with changes that are seen microscopically. So you have your mammogram that can help. And in females who are younger than the age of 30, because of the density of their breasts, these females, a mammogram may not show up the changes. So a breast ultrasound would help. The ultrasonographer or the radiologist, who's a specialist in looking at these things, would see certain changes and can tell you if this lump can be just a simple cyst where there is a fluid-filled sac, or it can be something more than that. There may be changes that she sees. She can say that it is very vascular, a lot of blood vessels come into the lump that always kind of make you think or make you suspect that it might be something cancerous or malignant. You also have MRIs for the breast. We can do that, but those are more advanced studies and very expensive. And then we can do biopsy. A biopsy is the gold standard because that is going to confirm what it is. What exactly is a biopsy? You need tissue from the breast or from the lump to send to the pathologist, and then the pathologist will look at these cells and say if these cells are cancerous or malignant or not. So we have different types of biopsy. You can have a fine needle where you just take a small needle and you're hoping to get cells and you send them to be tested. You can use a bigger needle, what we call a core biopsy. All right, and you can take samples of the breast and send it to be tested. And you can also do a surgical intervention where you take piece of the lump itself, which is an incisional biopsy, or you take the entire lump, which is an excisional biopsy. But the whole objective that why you're doing this, you need to confirm via pathology, via tissue, and see if this indeed is a cancer. So those are most of the things that you want. And these patients, because we said genetic risk factors are also risk factors, you can do genetic testing as well to see if persons are born or have predisposition to having some of these genetic changes or genes that would predispose them to having breast cancer.
Thank you, doctor. Most patients often ask about the stage of breast cancer once diagnosed. How is breast cancer staged?
So we have a classification, and we taking into account the tumor, the T, that is the tumor size. We also taking in consideration the nodes, the lymph node, that is an instruction that we have in the RP, and we also testing the metastasis, that is when the cancer is spread to other part of the body. Mm-hmm. So based in that classification, we stage in the patient in stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. The stage 1 is when the tumor is less than 2 centimeters and we cannot find any lymph node positive. The stage 2 is when the patient have tumor between 2 and 5 centimeters and we detecting at least 1 lymph node positive. Stage 3 will be when the patient have more than 5 centimeters, the tumor is really enlarged in the breast, and we have up to 3 lymph node positive. And the stage 4 is when the patient already have metastasis in other organs. For example,
metastasis is that?
Exactly, is when the disease is spread to other organs, basically lungs, liver, and bones that are really frequently in this kind of disease.
Mm-hmm. Very good, excellent. Yeah. So patients, just to emphasize what Dr. Leon has just said, so you've got 4 main stages. You want to capture this, if a person is going to have breast cancer, you want to capture it in the earliest stage, like the stage 1. Because what does that do? Because we spoke about prognosis last week and survival. The earlier the breast disease is diagnosed, the better the chance of having a full recovery. A patient can go on to survive this disease, okay? Mm-hmm. And so the later person person is diagnosed stage 4, meaning that you have a tumor in the liver. We don't want that. Or tumor in the brain. We don't want that. Or something in the lung. That makes the treatment plan much more aggressive, much more complicated, and the prognosis or outcome would be much more dangerous, scary, bad in a sense.
Thank you, doctors. Once a diagnosis, once there is a diagnosis of the breast cancer, once a diagnosis of the breast cancer is made, what are the treatment options?
So the treatment options for breast cancer are varied, and there's lots of study that is continuously being done. But usually one of the first steps is to get rid of that tumor. That tumor is the source of the problem. So it would involve some surgical intervention. So that's why Dr. Leon and I work very well together. I am the surgeon. I usually do the procedure, and Dr. Leon does a lot of the post or oncology treatment, because she's an oncologist by profession. So we can do several things. We've got the lump there. We've tested it. It comes back as cancer. We can remove the lump entirely, because you want to make sure you get good margins so you don't leave any cancer cells there. So you do a wide excision. You remove the entire lump. All right, so you start by there, making sure that is then tested again to ensure that there is no continued spread outside of the border. That is called a lumpectomy or wide excision. There are different ways. Or you could remove a quadrant of the breast, because the breast can be divided into 4 sections. So you could take out a whole quadrant of the breast. You can also, or it can be called a partial mastectomy. Or the one that is often done to, and most women can be very uncomfortable with having this, is a mastectomy. And having to tell a female patient that she's going to have to remove her breast for survival, it can be very disturbing and very hard for her to deal with. So the mastectomy is removing the entire breast, so taking the nipple, taking the areola, and taking some of the nodes or the glands under the arm, and all of those is tested. All right?
Wow. Wow. So you talked about the surgery, but beside the surgery, what are some other treatments?
So when the patient have the surgery done, we will choose then what will be the best approach for the patient. We use different kind of treatment. We can use chemotherapy. The chemotherapy could be IV treatment or could be orally, and that will be depending on the characteristic of the patient. We also can use radiation. We have to say that not everybody have criteria to do radiation. That is the reason that it's so important to do evaluation for the biopsy and see if the patient is fit for that kind of treatment. We have different modalities of radiation. We have intraoperative radiation, and we also can use external beam radiation. That is most of the time that we choose for our patients because we don't have the technology here in the Federation. We also have the target therapy, the hormonal therapy that is crucial for patients. That is a treatment that we use when we complete the whole course of the treatment, chemotherapy and radiation, and the patient have to be in this kind of treatment for a long time. Right now, the last study showed that being hormonal therapy for 10 years is a protecting factor for patients, and we have to realize that here in the Federation, the age that we diagnose patients is early. We have patients between 40, 13 years that they need to be protecting for longer. We have to mention it that getting old is a risk factor to develop this kind of cancer. And we also have other kind of therapy like target therapy that we use based in the mutation that the patient have. We use specifically treatment to kill that kind of cells that produce the disease in the body.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, doctor. And it's important to emphasize the whole goal is to kill all the cells. So all of these treatments that she's mentioned, chemotherapy, that's that IV fluid that they pushed you, is to get any kind of cancer cells that may have remained after surgery, along with the radiation, where you put radiation beams on the breast to kill any remaining cells. So the objective is to destroy any cancer cells so that cell doesn't multiply and then the person have a recurrence of the disease, because that that can happen
Exactly.
if the treatment. So you know that we're just doing a brief summary. We know that oncology is very complex, very deep, and Dr. Leon is the expert here. So if you have any further questions, you can either see her as well to ask some more questions about any kind of oncology treatment.
There may be persons out there asking about prevention, preventative measures as it relates to breast cancer. What is your advice?
Yes. You may not be able to prevent breast cancer, and we touched on that last week because
Yeah,
one
we
of the
did.
one of our listeners asked an important question, and which was an excellent question. But we can decrease the chance or decrease what we call the risk factors. We emphasized last week that you can have risk factors that are modifiable, mean that you can change them based on your lifestyle, and you have risk factors that are non-modifiable. You can't change your age. You can't change your being
sex.
a female. So what are the things we can prevent? We can eat healthy, a diet which is fruits and vegetables, lots of water, nutritious proteins and grains. Those are important. And you want to reduce things like red meats. You want to reduce anything that is not healthy, food that is high in saturated fats and cholesterol. You want to make sure get moving. Azard, I've been emphasizing this from day one. Almost everything, your health can be improved with exercise, weight loss. Avoid beverages that are filled with alcohol. We know that it's terrible for most of our patients. So research shows that breast cancer, there is a link between breast cancer and alcohol use. So we recommend that females limit the amount of alcohol intake. And you want to get your screening mammogram because we keep emphasizing a mammogram should start by the age of 40 usually. But if you have a strong family history, you can start earlier. But you need to get your mammogram. If you decide, because most studies show you can have it yearly or every 2 years, so your mammogram is important. And you want to do regular self-examination. You as a young woman, you're in the bathroom, you're taking your shower, you touch your breasts, and if you see any changes or feel anything, then you go and see your physician and get checked out.
Can I ask a quick question? Is it usual for in oncology, for doctors in general, and I guess we're talking cancer, to try and suss out what may have been the cause of the cancer, whether maybe it's the person was predisposed genetically or perhaps some environmental factor?
So we have different risk factors in relation with the disease. We must have to say that getting old is one of the risk factors. The way that we eat a lot of sugar could lead to this kind of disease. Drink alcohol, like the doctor mentioned it before, is one of the risk factors. Have a relative had been diagnosed with this disease is also a risk factor for develop cancer in the future. So we have the genetical part of it. We have environmental part of the disease, but most of the time remember that the disease is due to an hormonal imbalance. They mean that the patient have a lot of estrogen in the body or a lot of progesterone most of the time. That is the most common type of breast cancer, and this is mostly of the time due to diet. What we eat is what we lead to the patient to suffer for this terrible disease.
So, as you asked, Jamak, is that sometimes we really do not know. There is no one fix, and we got to emphasize. And I don't want any of our listeners to take away that if they have breast cancer, they are to blame. There are many different risk factors. Science has still not discovered that one thing that leads to cancer. So they're associated factors, and we encourage persons to make the lifestyle change, the dietary change. But most breast cancers still to this day are what we call sporadic. They just happen. You may not have any risk factors. And you also ask, you can have genetic testing to see. But genetic testing, if you have these genes that we spoke about last week, the breast cancer gene 1 or 2, we call them BRCA1 and 2, it's about 5 to 10% of the population.
Exactly.
That's a small
It's too low.
population. But most persons who have breast cancer, they may be the first in their family. So there's no one thing. So we don't want anyone to think that having breast cancer is anything to be ashamed about. Having breast cancer is your fault. No, because there's so many risk factors. And it's almost like randomly throwing something out there with 100 women and see who's going to catch. okay, randomly, and so you don't know who is going to get this disease.
Okay, it's 9:21. It's weekly dose, and we're talking breast cancer. If you have any calls, if you have any questions, comments, give us a call at 466-762-662-0989, and the doctors will be happy to answer your questions. So give us a call or two. We have about 8 minutes left.
Okay, so.
So here we go.
Oh, sorry.
There's a caller. Let's get the caller.
Weekly dose, go right ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Doctor, do you believe, I don't know how religious you are, but there's a story in the Bible about a woman with an issue of blood for some time, and then Jesus healed her. You believe it's a possibility there was cancer?
I've heard the story since I was a child. We know that something
Hello?
was. I said I heard the story since I was a child going to church.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what was the problem. They said she had an issue of blood. Maybe she had we don't know what it is. We can always speculate, but it said nothing more about it. So I cannot confirm what it was.
Yes, one or two track statement in addition to that. This movie star, Angelina Jolie, she had her two breasts removed because she said it was found that I think her mother and some other members of the family had breast cancer, and it was shown that she was on her way. That's one.
Yes. So in relation with that question, we have to mention it that.
Wait, let me finish, please. Then please let me comment. I don't want to lose my thought. This singer, Patti LaBelle, she was hastening that chase into transforming the way she eats because she lost her mother and a sister to breast cancer also. I don't know if you comment on them, but lastly, I was told a number of years ago that in Britain, when women have breast cancer, in some cases, the physician able, or the surgeon, whoever the expert, use the laser and they start to form a ball inside the breast. Seal it in there so that it won't spread. But at some period, they'll have to go to the theater again and lance it and drain whatever in there and seal it back. I don't know if you could comment on those things that were said. All right, have a good day.
Thank you for your question.
So in relation with that question, we have to mention it that in her case, because she has a strong history, genetical history of the disease in the family, we have the option to do bilateral mastectomy. That is, we remove the both breasts for patients, and we also have to take off the ovaries for the patient, because in that case it's because the patient have the BRCA1, BRCA2 mutation, and is really deadly, and we know that the patient have high risk to develop this kind of disease in early age. So that is one of the options for the treatment.
Excellent, because when you spoke about Angelina Jolie, I remember that created a lot of buzz in the media when she did that some years ago. You've got to take some things into consideration as well too. Angelina has a lot of resources, and another part of having breast surgery and mastectomy is that reconstructive surgery can also be an option. Most of our local people do not have the resources for reconstructive surgery. So Angelina Jolie had the resources of removing her breast tissue, all of the breast tissue, and she had reconstructive surgery. I guess some people even criticize she got younger, perkier breasts at that point as well too. Exactly. So that was, you have to take that. And I remember that her mom, and I think I'm correct, that her mom died from ovarian cancer. And as doctor said, that it's associated with the BRCA1 and BRCA2 disease. So she also got tested and was found to have the gene. So she made that decision to have the breast removed. So he asked also something about, which I was not clear about, in Britain there was some kind of test done. I think you mentioned, though, you can have radiation interoperatively. So during the surgery, you can put in, you can do the radiation targeting the cells there. So I don't know if that is what the caller was alluding to. Are there any more questions?
There's another call. Let's take another
Let's take
call.
the call. Yes.
Weekly Dose, go right ahead.
Hi, good morning, Johnson.
Hi, good morning.
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 One of the things I wanted to bring up, because as you talked about it, and I'm glad the doctor is saying do not blame yourself, because when you talk about food, I think when I experienced breast cancer, afterwards I got really angry because I felt that I had been eating well and doing all of the right things, at least to me. But of course, there was one of those things that Dr. Leon mentioned, which is my love for sweet stuff. So, but another thing I've come across as I have, done a lot of research is trauma that we experience. That's something that, tends to make us predisposed at the risk. Sometimes we go through serious trauma as children, and that can also is something that I read about as having. So we have to learn how to, seek therapy, go through some healing and so on. So that's maybe one of the things that we can avoid the cancers. What do you think?
Oh, excellent point, because we have to approach health in a holistic manner. And it's mind, body, soul. So it is not enough for us sometimes to just take care of the problem. That's why when we have a patient diagnosed with breast cancer, it's a multidisciplinary team. We have the oncologists, we have the surgeons, we get the counselors involved, the radiologists involved. So it's not a one-man show. Everybody's involved, the nursing staff. And so we try to take a holistic approach, getting the person emotional support. Some of my patients have come and told me that they've reached out to some cancer survivors when they were diagnosed, and they got a lot of emotional support and they were able to face it. So a holistic approach to health is very important because it's mind, body, and soul. And we know in medicine there's what we call psychosomatic disease. Because you're so psychologically stressed out or worked up, it has physical manifestation. So that matters. So excellent point.
So you just mentioned one of the risk factors that we just keep out, that is the stress.
Yes.
Stress is one of the main factors for developing this kind of disease. So, sorry.
No, continue talking.
Okay.
Continue.
So I was saying that stress is a really factor that we have common for this kind of disease. And the most important that I want to advise to everybody outside, please get somebody that you can share how you're feeling, because mostly of our patients, they take all for them and they don't share. And sometimes you need somebody beside you to give you that kind of support.
There's another question?
No. Just a quick question. You could be brief. There's a caller referenced Angela Jolie removing both of our breasts. Do we have any reconstructive referrals here that are done when that happens in our
federation? Okay, well, to be honest,
I know it won't be done here, but I mean, do you guys do? How is that taken care of?
You can refer the patient. Of course, everything is going to come down to resources. The patient has to have the financial resource, because that's going to run into thousands of dollars, and they have to go abroad, whether regionally or internationally. But they can be referred if they have. I remember some years ago we had our first bilateral mastectomy in the federation. The female, she was diagnosed with breast cancer in one of her breasts, but she decided that she was going to do both her breasts, and she was fine with that. She was counseled about that. So that is an individual and personal decision, but you can refer a patient for reconstructive surgery.
I would like to mention that not everybody is fit for reconstruction surgery.
Yeah.
Because the staging of the patient really matters when we choose this kind of option.
Excellent point. Yes, so a person may not be.
Well, I want to say to you guys, thank you so much. Such an educational, informative discussion here this morning. Breast cancer awareness as we continue to make persons aware. Anything else that you want to say? Maybe a sneak peek as next week?
So next week, well, good point that you mentioned that, because we'll continue our series and we will be discussing more about the diagnostic studies, the mammogram, the ultrasound and stuff. So we're hoping to have that discussion, because this month we're making our emphasis on breast cancer awareness, but we also are trying to emphasize as well that breast cancer is not only diagnosed in the month of October, it's diagnosed all year round, and we have to keep giving support to the patients and those who are diagnosed and keep building them up. Right? Any comments, Dr. Leon? That's okay.
No, I'm so pleased to be here today and share all this information for patients, because sometimes they need to know exactly what's going on, what are the symptoms, in order to get some medical assistance.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for listening to us. Thanks for the support continuously.
Thank you, doctors.
Okay, bye-bye.
Stepping out tonight with Ramona and Sasha. Run to the fridge for me secret trick. 2 buckle of Magnum, now everything's set. You don't know, one girl can't manage me. When me under me Magnum, all 2 or 3. Mickey a buckle to me granddaddy, cause later on tonight he might expect a lady. You want the energy for do the things that you do. Drop with the Magnum with the figure 10 2. Ladies, give you the vibe, big more. And all them on them, yeah, that's strong extra live. Magnum tonic wine, energy when you need it.
Like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ramsupermarket. Follow us on Twitter, www.twitter.com/ramsupermarket. And subscribe to us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/ramsupermarket.
The steel band music is very sweet. You hear the rhythm in every beat. The bass, the scratcher, and the oil drum will make you jump up and make you hop. It's fantastic in every sense, the music that you get from these instruments. Yes, the dominant chord from the guitar man and the prominent notes on the tenor pan. Music in the place is like hell to keep up the pace with the bass. Guluki tum pum pum, guluki tum pum ping tam pum pam pum pum pum. Important, you ought to know. They play from classic to calypso. You hear them practice most everywhere. It's like a symphony orchestra in the atmosphere. And as they move on gradually, the music remains in your memory. Buru buru, yes, the dominant chord from the guitar man, and the prominent notes on the tenor pan. Music in the place is like hell to keep up the pace with the bass. Tukuluki tum pum ping tam tum pam. We have captains like Philo, James and Ellie Manette, Atabaya, Neville, Jules and Junior Puchette, Kenrick George, David Edwards, I must mention, and Tony Williams and Michigan. They are giants musically, and they nail bound to go down in history. Burududu, yes, the dominant chord from the guitar man, and the prominent notes on the tenor pan. Music in the place is like
9:37, and we have now, as you were telling us, it's mental health.
Yes, it's Mental Health Awareness Day, and it's all about mental health. Today, the color is green in support of the day, and we have with us.
We don't have them yet, but they're going to be calling back soon.
Okay,
so,
awesome. Okay, so guys, we are hoping that you stick and stay just for a bit. We're going to have a very, important discussion. It's World Mental Health Day. It's October 10th, and it's mental health is a universal human right. That's the theme for this day, World Mental Health Day. Mental health is a universal human right, and persons are encouraged to wear green. And it says, join us in this expression of solidarity and advocacy. So, yep, it is Mental Health Day. I think
I think we have them now. Good morning, ladies.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Hey, yes. And this is where we get into our mental health talk. Morning, ladies.
Yes, so we have Dr. Holiday on the line.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So, Dr. Holiday, it's World Mental Health Day, October 10th, 2023.
I'm not getting Sharon now.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay,
you're
that's
live.
fine.
You're
You're
live.
live. You're on.
You're live on.
She'll probably join.
Yes.
She can join when when she's available. But
Yes.
Let's start.
Yes. So you're here, and persons can
Okay,
hear
all right.
and everything. So, it's World Mental Health Day, and we want to say welcome to Island Tea as we discuss the theme and mental health today. Dr. Halliday? Hello?
All right, you go ahead.
Yes. So, Dr. Halliday, St. Nevis Mental Health Day, what would be your advice to persons out there as we recognize this holiday?
Okay. Sharon, you hearing us?
Hello?
I'm not hearing clearly.
You're not hearing clearly. Okay. Okay, because we're hearing you clearly. So,
yeah, we're hearing you quite well.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Let me see.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Okay. Let's try this now. That might be a
Okay.
little better now. Is that better, Sharon?
Yes, it's good.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
great,
Okay.
great. So we were saying that today's World Mental Health Day, October 10th, and the theme is mental health is a universal human right. And we are asking, what are your views on this, and what can be done to ensure that we are focused on the theme? I don't think she can hear me.
Sharon, are you having trouble hearing Azad?
I'm not hearing anything from the next person.
Okay, so
I'm only hearing you clearly.
Interesting. Okay, because everything is supposed to be working.
So can you
So
hear
can
me
you hear me
now?
now? Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, I had
Oh,
to
I had to
join the
to
call.
join the call.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
it's
it's
World
World
Mental Health
Mental
Day.
Health Day.
What is your
What
view
is your view
on the day, and
on the day, and
how should we
how should
proceed?
we proceed? Okay. 10th of October every year is World Mental Health Day, and the theme for this year is mental health is a universal. This is a day that is celebrated by all nations all around the world every day, 10th of October, and many countries have activities for the entire month to celebrate Mental Health Day or Mental Health Week.
So tell
So
us,
tell us,
what do you
what
think
do you
about the
think about
theme?
the theme? I think the theme is an extremely important theme because we speak about all sorts of human rights and we speak about the rights of a child, but oftentimes we do not speak about mental health being a universal human right. And many persons fight for other rights and fight to access rights, fight to access good health care, they fight for public housing, they fight for schools, but often people don't become self-advocates and fight for their own mental health.
Based on your
Based on your
experience,
experience,
um, how
how
serious is
serious
it
is it
concern here in St. Nevis mental health?
mental health? Mental, how serious it is? I didn't hear that question
How
clearly.
serious
How serious a concern it is for us to be aware and to do more as it relates to mental health? Mental health is serious in any country because at least 25% of any island people are suffering from mental issues at any time. And certainly we've known that coming out of COVID with many losses of lives and of financial supports and many jobs, people are suffering. People are very stressed in today's world with many issues that are rising. Also, as a factor of trauma and domestic violence and gun violence, people are suffering more than they should suffer because of mental health issues. So it's very important that persons access mental health. What are some of the facilities available to citizens who may be in need? Facilities that are available include the Bastille Health Center, the Molyneux Health Center, the Sandy Point Health Center. They have clinics, and certainly we know that every Thursday afternoon there's a mental health clinic at the Bastille Health Center. So it's important that people know that they are always available, that's always available. People can go to the emergency room. There are counseling centers. There's a counseling service at the hospital. There's also the government counseling service in college housing. And also you have private doctors. Then there's medical associates where I work. And I think Zara has a clinic, one or two others that do counseling. Based on we have, go ahead. Do you think that persons utilize these resources? People don't utilize resources as often as they should for several reasons, because mental health is always associated with stimulation, and persons always think that they can cope and they don't believe in early intervention. But early detection, early interventions means that you will do better. If somebody have a headache, they would investigate initially. But people would say, I'm suffering with stress for a long time and won't seek help. If you're suffering with any stress or any anxiety or any low mood, then you should seek help before it becomes a serious issue or before it becomes permanent. Because anything that is detected early can change. We've heard of many, for example, many cancer survivors now. If your cancer is caught in stage 1, you do well. If your cancer is in stage 4, you're more likely to die. Similarly, for mental health issues, if we detect it early, we are more likely to be able to help you, and you are better able to get results early. If you wait, then you might have a more lengthy course, and you might need more medication than you would have used initially had you accessed services earlier. Also, for any illness, the longer you have the illness, the more your support tends to fall away. For example, if you develop an illness today, everybody's around you. If you are chronically sick for a number of years, you tend to lose a lot of social support. So it's always better to diagnose early while your friends, your family, your children are still around you, are waiting to support you. And your prognosis will be much better once it's detected early.
Mm-hmm. I realize that
I see Sharon Archibald has just joined us.
there has been a number of perhaps famous persons who have committed suicide, and it is suspected that it's because of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to persons out there to encourage them, and to step a bit, but perhaps Dr. Archibald weigh in on this one, to encourage them to seek the help that they need?
Well, sorry for joining the conversation so late. We had some difficulty getting in. But for those persons, depression or any mental health disorder left untreated can lead to that action. The earlier one gets treatment, the better. And there is, right now, I feel a bit better about it in our situation at home, where more persons are less afraid to come forward now and to admit that they have a problem or that they're struggling with depression or whatever. But the conversation has started and is going over the years with more conversation that reduces the stigma and makes people unafraid. We recently had a mental health consultation at the Marriott several weeks ago in an effort to work on our legislation. And there was a broad, there was a lot of stakeholders there from different areas. And what pleased me was that there were persons who had lived experiences who were included in the consultation, and they were very open and honest and upfront and shared their experience with the whole group. And that pleased me because a few years ago that never would have happened. And so, first, yes, so it's good that because in speaking about it and embracing it, that empowers you and helps you to heal. And it also encourages and empowers others who are afraid because of the stigma to come forward. So the more we talk about it, the better. And then that would lead to people seeking help, being unafraid to seek help, and then that would avoid the suicide and so on. It's when we keep things in the closet that you can't do anything about it. Shining the light on a problem is always the first step to solving it.
Okay, and if we go back to that point about the famous people committing suicide, a lot of people don't recognize that when you are depressed, the neurochemicals in your brain are depleting. And the more the neurochemicals deplete, the worse the brain is functioning. Because even though we talk about mental health disorders, they are really physical disorders. They are really physical disorders that have a neurotransmitter base. So when we are depressed, our dopamine, our serotonin, and our norepinephrine levels are low. And it's a result of these low levels that cause the action of suicide. And that is why we have to make sure that our brains have the right chemical balance. Similarly, if you are hypertensive,
because it's nothing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. So
nothing to be ashamed of.
If your blood pressure is high, you don't feel embarrassed, and if your sugar is high, you don't feel embarrassed. So in this case, there's no embarrassment. You go and get treatment because there's treatment.
As you speak about treatment, there are a lot of persons who feel so, and this is the stigma associated with that when you get actually worsens the condition. A lot of persons on the road speak about that. That person gone off because of treatment and stuff like that. What could you say to dispel that sort of
That is not true at all. Not true at all.
That's not true. Okay, for example, on St. Kitts register, we have 500 people on the register. Do you see 500 people walking around the streets of St. Kitts looking like they have a mental disorder? No. So obviously the treatment is working. And if you use statistics, if St. Kitts had a fight or riot or a gun violence, would you say that everybody in St. Kitts is evil because there was somebody who got shot? No. So you cannot use the worst case scenario to determine a whole population.
No.
We have many people working in good jobs in government, and many people who have had no hospital admissions at all because they take their medication. In fact, the people who you see who have a mental health disorder are the people who are non-compliant. For example, the only hypertensives in the hospital are the people who don't take the high blood pressure meds. The only diabetics who get amputated, their limbs amputated, are the people who don't take the diabetic medication. And the only mental health people who you see on the street are those who do not take their medication. So compliance is a very big part. If you're compliant, you'll have absolutely no problems. You'll be on the best medication and you won't have any side effects. And you look normal and absolutely nobody will know that you have a mental health disorder if you follow your treatment protocol.
I have a question. This is something that I've been thinking about. Just at the tail end of COVID and after COVID, and we saw this spike in unhinged behavior on airplanes and just a lot of stuff that just seemed beyond the pale. And I wondered if it had something to do with the COVID lockdowns. Is it possible that was responsible for a lot of some of this kind of unhinged behavior, this really huge spike in unhinged behavior we were seeing post-COVID?
Yes. That's correct. Go ahead, Archibald. Go ahead.
I think it started just with the very idea of COVID and what it could do, and seeing all of the deaths and so on. All of us, the whole world was traumatized. And I like to say that all of us are on the continuum, and we don't know what will move us in any direction on the continuum. And many persons were coping, quote unquote coping, before COVID. And then COVID, because of the fear and anxiety and stress that associated with it, the loss of loved ones and so on, loss of employment, and then lockdown, being isolated, that unmasked whatever some persons had even from before. And so, and then you couldn't, well, most persons didn't have access to psychiatric or psychological care. Some persons did. Like, we had things in place in St. Kitts where we had the hotlines and so on. Everybody didn't have that. And so that's when some persons got spiraled out of control. Persons who were undiagnosed before and were just barely coping, and then persons who were diagnosed but couldn't continue their care.
Okay, all right. And the other thing that happened with COVID is that COVID itself physically affected the brain and caused new onset depression and anxiety. So having COVID, especially if you had COVID that was situated in the brain, caused new onset of cases. the isolation, we are human. We are actually human beings. And the isolation from COVID really caused a lot of mental disorders, along with the tremendous loss that people experienced. I mean, many people became homeless, jobless, and the loss of, it was just a lot of extreme loss, a lot of extreme
fear
stress.
of what would happen next, fear of the unknown.
And the fear.
Okay.
And the fear.
Okay. We have
And
four.
then
You
many
guys.
people are living without God, unfortunately. If you don't have hope and you don't have that spiritual connection, then there's also increase in mental health, because you don't have that sense of peace and calmness that no matter what you go through, that God will work it out. So a lot of people have less hope now. Children have less hope now. So you'll find that the suicide rate in children is actually going up, because there's this sense of hopelessness in our society that wasn't there before. Because people are not being introduced to God at an early age.
And people are just trying to survive. And then the brain is very fragile. And imagine the brain exposed to anxiety and stress every day on a daily basis, trying to cope, trying to survive, and so on. And when the brain is not being exposed to anything therapeutic, anything peaceful, wholesome, and so on. And actually, it will get sick.
Wow.
Okay. I'm gonna squeeze in one. We have 3 minutes left. I'm gonna squeeze in one call. Caller, go right ahead for the doctors. Okay, looks like we lost. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Wow, we lost it again. I was trying to at least getting one call for the Sharons, but nothing. Okay, no success. Let's try this one. Caller, go right ahead.
Hello, good morning. Good topic. Good morning to everybody there in the panel. Yeah. What happened to this COVID story? We just was away. Right? What happened? It was just a cold. And what left over in Joanna? It makes it you get a cold. And then some people know to have it most and use clean out and think, in them place here. You don't know, see the bushes, you will see it in the West Indies, and that's what happened. It was a normal thing people used to say, when you go home, wipe after like, my door come in and that thing happened to me. Do this, wipe after toilet, that bus shower, and so. It was just a mindset. As I heard the lady just saying,
Okay, doctors, can you hear the call?
We didn't hear what you were saying, so can you explain the question?
Okay,
caller, they're expecting a question.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, what did she say? So we can comment on what she said.
It was just a mindset thing to get you real frightened.
She indicated that, she said that COVID was just a mind thing. It was just a cold.
Well, many people died from that cold, so let's move on.
Yeah.
Dr. Ali, I don't know if you spoke about the theme already. The theme for this year.
Yes,
you did that.
You can mention it again. We said mental health is a human right, a universal human right. Yes.
Right. And that means
universal human right.
Right. And that means that persons with mental health issues have a right to access to care, etc., etc.
And we do have good care in St. Kitts, because anybody can access care. And we have the day center that persons can also go to. So we have care, we have the health centers, we have hospitals, we have private practice. I think we have good care that persons can access.
And the medication is
medication, yes,
even for those who can't afford. And like I said, we're working on upgrading the legislation to protect persons' rights You know, they have a right, persons have a right to be treated, have a right not to be abused and not be discriminated against, and so on. Mr. Gumbs, you are the attorney. Hopefully, you'll help us with that as well.
Yes, okay. So I want to say thank you.
One thing, this is one thing we want to say. Many people self-treat their mental health disorders with alcohol and with marijuana. So when persons have a mental health condition, drug use tend to increase because they notice the benefits of drugs. Sometimes people cannot sleep and they start to take alcohol at night to help them sleep, and this produces an alcohol use disorder. And some people notice that they may not focus, people with ADHD, and instead of going to the doctor, they may smoke marijuana to increase the focus, but that affects their short-term memory. So persons are sometimes trying to self-medicate instead of coming for help. So it's very important that people access care. And one of the other things we noticed is that more females access care than males. And so one of the things that Dr. Azard wants to work on is having a men's clinic for mental health so that more males would feel comfortable in accessing mental health care. Because if the male in the family is not well, it often leads to domestic violence and abuse because that person is extremely irritable, doesn't know how to handle their anger and their emotions, and that can therefore affect the entire family. So men's health and men accessing mental health is one of the things that Dr. Azard will want to work on because that is extremely important.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, I think we're out of time now, but I want to say thank you for being a part of the program, despite the difficulties that we experienced this morning. I want to say thank you so much. I want to say to those persons listening, thank you for always listening, tuning in to Island Tea. And God's willing, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Have a nice World Mental Health Day. And be sure to take a few breaths, stretch your muscles, go for a walk, and keep yourself hydrated and take your vitamins today.
Thank
you. Have a good day. May God bless you all.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the Sharons. Two more popular doctors. Yeah,
it's true. It's Sharon Halliday and Dr.
And
Sharon
I was a little confused
Sharon
because
Archibald. Yeah, it's two Sharons.
Yeah, I remember I saw Sharon. Then Sharon called me. I was like, I thought they said Sharon Halliday. I didn't realize it was going to be the two of them. But
yes.
So there we go.
Wow, I never. I know both of their names, but I never really. Well, even on that call, I never made the connection. It's two Sharons.
Yes, and because that caused a little confusion, and I didn't realize now that Sharon Archibald is the PS now.
Yes, she is.
I see. I didn't know that. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a surprise to me. So another great show this morning. So you think we were productive today?
I think we were. Let's try to beat that game tomorrow.
I know. Okay, so it's Tuesday, October 10. Here's hoping everyone has a great day. 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. And we'll be back tomorrow to do it again on Hump Day.
Oh, Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. That's
Somehow
tomorrow.
it feels like we're further into the week.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
Good day there. Good day to everyone.
Yes, good day. All right. Peace.